Party people, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a layout in my Heidi Swapp Storyline Chapters insert. This is the scrapbooking insert, which doesn't have the dot grid or the grid pattern like the journaler inserts do. This is it's not completely white paper. There is like some sort of like a really soft gray in the background, but it doesn't have the lines. And so I had a few photos of Minerva and I. Minnie is the biggest laugh cat to end all laugh cats. And I thought it'd be fun to document, this story. So I had a few pictures of her just hanging out on my lap, and they're perfect for this kind of insert where they're smaller stories. So I pulled out a few things from the stamp market, from Studio Calico, and from Heidi Swapp. I started by creating kind of a half wreath on the left side of my page where my big photo is going to sit. So I printed 2 photos at 3x4 and then 1 photo at 4x6. And so the first thing I did was I pulled out a pink ink. This is called Bubblegum from the stamp market, and I stamped those big florals. I think these florals are designed for watercoloring, so you could stamp them in like a no-line ink, or you could do them in black, or you can just do what I'm doing, which is stamp them in color and make a wreath out of them. And then I went in with the green ink, which is called Cactus, and added some leaves between my big flowers. Again, we're just creating the illusion of like a wreath, right? And then I go ahead with the yellow ink. This is called Citrine. I will, of course, link everything in the description box like I normally do if you're interested in this stamp set. And I stamped the Citrine right next to where the leaf clusters are. This is just to add some more color. So you notice I used a pink, a yellow, and a green to repeat the colors in the journaling cards that I had already picked for the right side. These are cards from the Full Heart. It took me a while to remember. The Full Heart Studio Calico kit. So if you have that kit, that's where these cards are from. But you can use, like, if you decide to recreate this, like, you can use any cards you have that match the design you wanted to tell. And then I just decided to recreate the stamping clusters on the right side. And I have that thing that whatever I do on the left side, I tried to recreate on the right. And you'll notice that most of this gets covered up by my photos and cards anyway, but you can still see it like hanging out, and that's the important part. And I just used a smaller flower, but stamped in the same colors, the pink, the yellow, and the green. And like I said, you see that some of it does get covered up by my photos, but you can still see it hanging out on the sides and on the bottom, which was what was important to me. So I go ahead now and I'm working on creating the actual page. So I'm with a layout like this, especially since I'm working in a book, I constantly pick things up and put them down, and then pick things up and put them down, just to figure out like if things are straight and where I want them. So this next step, I'm just matting my photos. And I will tell you, the raw footage for this was about 35 minutes long. So this is not a lengthy process. If you decide to recreate something like this, you can also do this in a traveler's notebook. Even if you don't have this particular size insert, just print your stuff at a smaller size. Or this could just be a layout design. You could just do the big photo and the 4 grid on a single page and embellish it, and then you have a layout. I like grid designs. I like seeing other people do them. I just normally struggle with them when I try to do them myself. So I'm challenging myself to do things that I don't normally do in this insert. That's part of why I picked this insert up. It's because I wanted to challenge myself to do things I wouldn't normally do, and it was a nice size to have size to play. So quickly here, I'm die cutting a tag. I'm using my Sizzix Sidekick. I love this little die cutting machine. It sits on my desk all the time. It is super fun, super convenient. So I just quickly die cut out a tag out of the same cardstock that I use to mat my photos. And then I made a pocket for it to sit behind that yellow card, because I just wanted to add a little bit of journaling about Minnie. Like the story was going to be about, how she's a lap cat, right? But that's my story. But I wanted to write a little bit about her, how she was 2 years old in this picture, and what she liked to do, and her favorite toy, and her favorite flavor of cat food. And that's all I did. And then I stapled a tiny bit of green velvet ribbon to the top of the tag, so I remember that it's actually a tag that can come out. And so now I'm working on actually embellishing my spread, because all the hard work's done, right? I've stuck down all of my 3x4 pieces. My photos end up being a little bit wider than 3x4. or a little bit longer than 4 inches. That's what it is. So I ended up doing kind of like a staggered grid, which you don't really notice all that much. Like, it looks like it's a perfect grid, but if you look at the close-ups, you'll see that they're not perfectly aligned, but I like that because I got that weird corner in the middle, and I kind of like that a lot. So now I'm going through, this is the Honey and Spice ephemera pack. I don't know if this is on sale anywhere, but I had it and I never opened it, and the colors in it just matched perfectly with the colors in the 2 Studio Calico cards that I picked. And you guys, sorry that my camera's moving so much. I cannot figure out, I've said this a few times, I can't keep the cats out the living room when I'm filming, or you'll hear them, or they'll scream and they'll make me nuts. So they constantly run back and forth under my desk, and when they do that, they knock my tripod a little bit, so hopefully it's not terrible. So now I'm working on my title. And I use these Sizzix sticky sheets to make an adhesive piece of patterned paper. And I'm die cutting my title out of this patterned paper. So the way it works is you just stick the sticky sheet down to the back of your cardstock. And now you pretty much have a sheet of sticker paper, right? And then you can just do whatever you want to. You can die cut whatever you want. Now I know that this is not the best way to store my dies. At the time of this video, I had ordered a pack of magnetic sheets. I don't have them yet, but I will keep my alpha dies on magnetic sheets to help me like easily find letters. But for now, this is what I had. So this is what I did. So they're actually in the package that they came in, but I just decided to die cut #LaughCat, which is the title of my spread. These are the Sizzix Tim Holtz alphanumeric dies. Again, I will link everything in the description box. You can get these on Amazon and at scrapbook.com. And I like die cutting my alphas now because then I don't have to worry about running out of A's and E's, which almost always happens to me when I have a sheet of thickers and then I run out of them and I can't spell anything. Also, now I can make sure that my letters actually match the collection that I'm using because I can just die cut it out of the papers that I'm using. So I quickly die cut LaughCat, and now these are alpha stickers because remember, I put the sticky thing on the back side of the paper that I'm using, so now I don't have to worry about using glue or anything else because these are alpha stickers. So I'm going ahead and sticking down my big photo directly onto my notebook because at this point we are just about done with this layout. And after sticking down my big photo, I go ahead and I put the embellishments that I grabbed on the page. So I picked out a green piece, a yellow piece, and a pink piece just to, again, recreate the color scheme that I had already picked. So I layered over to a leaf and a flower, and then I added that sticker that said one and only, and then I grabbed a little rose gold die cut that says this is us, and that's my cluster. I'm going to be doing a few I think I'm going to try to do a few videos on how I do clusters and how I create them, because that's something I get asked really often, is how I know what to layer and what to put together. And there is definitely a formula that I use, not really a formula, a recipe that I use. So I will try to do that in the next week or so, show you guys how I pick what I use for layering and how I make sure that, how I do my clusters pretty much. So now I'm sticking down my title at the top, and it's really easy to get this backing paper off your stickers. It's a little bit harder for me because my nails are a little long. I need to trim these down a little bit, but not getting into a nail salon for quite some time, so I'm just gonna have to deal with them being a little long. And then I added that tab right under the photo above where my cluster is. And I'm sticking on the few pieces that I had picked for the left side. So now I'm pretty much covering that heart. But I added a camera and I added a banner die cut. And after this, I pretty much grab a pencil and I start creating some journaling lines because I wanted to actually do some journaling right on this layout. Now, when I do a 12 by 12 or something like that, here you guys get to watch me struggle with making sure this is straight. When I do a 12 by 12 or something like that, I normally do my journaling on the back side of my layout because I just don't want my handwriting to interrupt my spread. My handwriting is normally not a part of the design, right? But I do want to do some journaling. But for this, I made sure to leave space so I would be able to do my journaling directly on the page. So first I go ahead with a pencil and just use my T-square to draw some lines. I realize that I don't have enough lines, so lesson number 1, always give yourself more lines than you think you need, because I had to go ahead and add more lines. But I just did some journaling about how I had always wanted a LaughCat, and that Minnie is the best gift that I could have ever asked for. I love her and Astoria. But Tori's very skittish, and she's not very like tactile and cuddly the way Minnie is. And so it's pretty nice to have them both, because Tori likes to play and Minnie doesn't really like to play, but she does like to cuddle. And so I get the best of both worlds with both of my cats. So I did some journaling about that I'm finally a cat mom and that it's the best. And then I add some photo corners, and that completes this layout. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're so inclined. Let me know if you like these layouts in these storyline chapters inserts, and I will do my best to keep them coming. So again, I will link all the products I use in the description box if you want to purchase any of these things. And till next time, keep it crafty and have the best day, and I will see you around. Bye!